Welcome to the Madison Miller Podcast. Today is Friday, March 19th, 2021. Today, I'm going to recap yesterday's first four and NIT games and look ahead to tonight's and the weekend's games. And then we'll do NBA and NHL and spring training. Look ahead to tonight and the weekend's games. We'll look at the current leaderboard at the Honda Classic. We'll preview and predict the NASCAR races for this weekend, the latest news and notes, and my best bet of the day. All right, we're going to start with college basketball. And we are going to do, we're going to go over the games first from yesterday and then look ahead to today. We're going to start the first four. That is the big story. All the games are actually pretty good. A lot of double-digit comebacks. If I'm not mistaken, all four teams that won yesterday came back from double digits. All right. East 16 seeds, Texas Southern over Mount St. Mary's 60-52. Texas Southern 17-8. Mount St. Mary's finishes at 12-11. John Walker III had 19 for Texas Southern, and Damian Chunk, he had 14 for Mount St. Mary's. West Region 11 seeds, Drake over Wichita State 53-52. Drake is 26-4. Wichita finishes at 16-6. Joseph Yosefo had 21 points for Drake, and Maris Udizi had 22 for Wichita. 16 seeds West Region, Norfolk State over Appalachian State 54-53. Norfolk 17-7. App State finishes at 17-12. Jalen Hawkins had 24 for Norfolk, and Justin Forrest had 18 for App State. 11 seeds East Region playing game. 11 seeded UCLA over 11 seeded Michigan State 86-80 in overtime. UCLA 18-9. Michigan State finishes at 15-13. Jamie Jaquez Jr. had 27 for UCLA, and Aaron Henry had 16 for Sparty. NIT, we're going to go over those games now. 3-seeded NC State over 2-seeded Davidson 75-61, and 2-seeded Boise State over 3-seeded SMU 85-84. NIT for the weekend, we're going to start with NIT and then finish with the bracket games. ESPN 2 tonight, 4-seeded Buffalo against 1-seeded Colorado. Colorado State, I project as a 2.5-point favorite, total 147. And FanDuel has this 1.5, 153.5. I'm going to go with the under. I think that's very, very high. I think Colorado State's a good defensive team, so I'm going to go under 153.5. And I think Colorado State moves on. 4-seeded Louisiana Tech and 1-seeded Ole Miss, 9 o'clock ESPN 2. I project Louisiana Tech as a 3.5-point favorite, total 135. Meanwhile, it's Mississippi by 3.5, total 129.5. I love Louisiana Tech plus a 3.5 and plus 150 on the money line. I think Louisiana Tech wins this game outright. Saturday NIT, 12 o'clock ESPN. Dayton-Memphis is a 4-1 matchup. I project Memphis 1.5, total 136.5. Meanwhile, it's Memphis 4.5, total 137.5. I have to take Dayton plus the points at minus 116. I know I don't think Dayton will win. I just think they'll cover. And 5 o'clock on ESPN on Saturday, 4-seeded Mississippi State against 1-seeded St. Louis. I'm at St. Louis 8, total 138. Meanwhile, it's St. Louis 4.5, total 136. I'm laying it with St. Louis. I think St. Louis is a better team than Mississippi State, so I'm going to lay the 4.5 with St. Louis in that one. All right, and now the one that everybody wants to hear. The round of 64. Day 1. At 12:15 on CBS. You got 10-seeded Virginia Tech, 7-seeded Florida, South Region. I'm at Florida 2, total 140.5. I'm just going to repeat all the totals and everything from the preview podcast, because some of it has changed due to injuries and COVID issues and whatnot. And it's Virginia Tech as a 1-point favorite, total 135. I'm going to take Florida plus the 1 and minus 104 on the money line. I just think that the Gators are better than the Hokies. as the Hokies really haven't played much lately. So I'm going to take the Gators plus the 1 and minus 104 on the money line. And I just think they're the better team. 12:45 True TV, 14-seeded Colgate, 3-seeded Arkansas, South Region, first round. I'm at Arkansas, 3.5, total 154. Meanwhile, it's 8.5 and 160.5. For the sake of the podcast, I'm going to go under 160.5. That is a very high total. And I think that it will be a high-scoring game, but I don't think it's going to be in the 160s. Like, that's a lot. And I think that Arkansas will win, but Colgate will cover. But podcast pick under 160.5. Drexel, Illinois, 115 TBS. You're 16-1 in the Midwest region. I'm at Illinois 13, total 144.5. Meanwhile, it's 23 and 143.5. I'm going to take Drexel plus the 23 at minus 116. That is a very, very high number. 145 TNT. You're 11-6. Utah State and Texas Tech in the South region. My numbers are Utah State 1.5, total 135.5. Meanwhile, it's Texas Tech 4, total 131. I'm taking Utah State plus the 4 and plus 160 on the money line. Next up, 3 o'clock, CBS. 15-seeded Oral Roberts, 2-seeded Ohio State in the South region. I'm at Ohio State 9, total 152.5. Meanwhile, it's Ohio State 15.5, total 157. I'm going to take Oral Roberts plus the 15.5 at minus 106. I think that they could backdoor Ohio State in garbage time. 3:30 True TV. South region. 1-seeded Baylor, 16-seeded Hartford. I'm at Baylor 18.5, total 140. And it's 25.5, total 140. I'm taking Hartford plus the 25.5 to cover. Maybe Baylor wins by 25. 4 o'clock, TBS. 9-seeded Georgia Tech against 8-seeded Loyola Chicago in the Midwest region. I'm at Loyola Chicago by 10, total 136. That's because of the Moses Wright COVID situation. And I'm at... Oh, wait, never mind. I said what I was at. FanDuel, 5.5, total 124. I love the over, but I love Loyola even more with the COVID absence of Moses Wright, who is the ACC Player of the Year. It's unfortunate. That's a big loss for Georgia Tech. So I'm going to lay it at 5.5 with Loyola Chicago. 4:30 TNT, Midwest region, 5-seeded Tennessee State, 12-seeded Oregon State. I am at Tennessee 7.5, total 137. Meanwhile, it's 8.5 and 131. I'm taking the over. That is a low total. I think both these teams are a little bit better offensively than this number suggests. All right, now the evening session. Midwest region, 625 TBS. 13-seeded Liberty, 4-seeded Oklahoma State. I am at Liberty by 1, total 142.5. Meanwhile, it is Oklahoma State 7, total 139.5. I'm taking Liberty plus a 7 and plus 275 on the money line. I think Liberty wins the game outright against Cade Cunningham and Oklahoma State. I know Cade Cunningham will be the best player on the court. Everybody loves Oklahoma State, but Liberty's a great team of themselves, and I think this is your big upset that not many people see on their radar. 7:10 CBS, South Region, first round. 8-seeded North Carolina, 9-seeded Wisconsin. I'm at UNC by a half, total 139.5. Meanwhile, it is UNC 1.5, total 137.5. I'm taking an over here. Carolina is a monster offensively, and I just don't see how they score less than 70 points. Maybe Wisconsin will score less than 70, but North Carolina's defense isn't the North Carolina defense of old. So I'm going to go over 137.5 between Wisconsin and Carolina. 7:15 on True TV. 15-seeded Cleveland State against 2-seeded Houston. I'm at Houston 11 total, 138.5. Meanwhile, it is Houston 20 total, 134.5. I'm taking Cleveland State plus the 20 to keep it within the number. 7:25 True TV. TNT. South Region first round, 13-seeded North Texas against 4-seeded Purdue. I'm at Purdue by 1.5 total, 133. Meanwhile, it's Purdue by 7 total, 126. This is a hard call for me to make on the podcast, but I'm going to go over 126. I have a bigger edge on the over than I do on North Texas as a dog to cover. So I'm going to go over 126. That's just very low to me. 9:20 TBS, Rutgers Clemson. I'm at Rutgers by 2. And I don't see a total out yet. Meanwhile, I have Clemson 1 total 133. I'm taking Clemson plus the 2, and I think they win outright. Everyone, their brother, loves Rutgers, but I'm going to go with the other side with Clemson. 9:40 CBS, Midwest first round, Syracuse, San Diego State. Use your 11-6 there. I'm at San Diego State by 8.5, total 141. Meanwhile, it's San Diego State by 3, total 139. I am going to take the Aztecs minus the 3. I get it, the zone. Everybody likes Syracuse because of the zone. I think it's a low-scoring game, but I just think that San Diego State has more talent, so give me San Diego State minus 3. 9:50 True TV, 14-seeded Morehead State against 3-seeded West Virginia in the Midwest region. I'm at Mountaineers 2.5, total 141. Meanwhile, it's Mountaineers 13, total 137. I'm taking Morehead State plus the points to cover, not the win. And last but not least tonight, 9:57 on TBS, or TNT, my bad. 12-seeded Winthrop, 5-seeded Villanova in the South region. My number is Winthrop by a whopping 5.5, total 144.5. Meanwhile, Villanova 6.5, total 143. I'm taking Winthrop plus a 6.5, plus 225 on the money line. I think that Winthrop will go out there and win the game outright. And I think this is your 12-5 upset this year. All right, now day 2 of the round of 64. 12:15 CBS, 12-seeded Georgetown against 5-seeded Colorado. I project Colorado by 10, total 139. Meanwhile, FanDuel has this at Colorado 5.5, total 137.5. I'm going to lay the 5.5 with Colorado at minus 110. Alrighty, next up is 12:45 True TV. You're 13-4 in the East region. UNC Greensboro against Florida State. I'm at Pick'em in 145. But the littlest edge to the Seminoles in my numbers. So I'm picking the Seminoles to win straight up. But against the spread-wise, let's see the numbers quickly. 10.5 and 145.5. I am taking Greensboro plus a 10.5 at plus or minus 116. I think that Greensboro covers, but the Seminoles win. 1:15 TBS on Saturday at 14-3 in the West region, Eastern Washington, Kansas. I'm at Kansas 6, total 143.5. And by the way, I have to make an adjustment because Colin McCormick will be back in this game for Kansas. So now I have to make it 7 and 143.5. And it is 10.5 and 147. I have the same. So I have, let's do the math here. 3.5 on Eastern Washington. Looks like this line just moved or something. 147. 3.5 point edge on the under. This is a hard call. I'm gonna go with the under. I think that Kansas is a good defensive team, so under 147. 145 TNT. You're 8-9 East Region, St. Bonaventure and LSU, and LSU a half, total 144. Meanwhile, it's LSU 1.5, total 144.5. This is so hard, guys. I have no choice but to take the LSU money line at minus 118. I don't want to take Bonaventure. So I'm going to go LSU money line minus 118 for the pick. I never do that, but here we are. 3 o'clock CBS, you're 16-1 in the East region. Texas Southern and Michigan. I'm at Michigan 5, total 142. Obviously, because I know Isaiah Livers, that number goes down a little bit. And it is... we don't even have it up here on FanDuel. 25.5 the line. I'm taking Texas Southern to cover against Michigan. You're 12-5 in the West region. 3:30 True TV. UC Santa Barbara Creighton. I'm at Creighton a half, total 141.5. Meanwhile, it is Creighton 7.5, total 137.5. I am taking Santa Barbara to cover, but not the win. You're 2:15 in the East region. Iona, Alabama. I'm at Bama 13.5, total 144. And that game is on TBS at 4 o'clock tomorrow afternoon. Meanwhile, it is 16.5 and 147. I'm going to go with another under. I think that both these teams will play a little bit better defense. I think that is a high total for Iona. I just cannot see them scoring with Bama. I think Bama's defense steps up a little bit here. 4:30 TNT is your 11-6 in the West region. Drake and USC. I'm at Drake 2, total 140. Meanwhile, it is USC 6, total 138. I'm taking Drake plus the 6 and plus 215 on the money line. And by the way, the total for Texas Southern Michigan is 142.5. I just found it. .25 TBS, so now we're in the second session on Saturday. West region, you're 15-2 Iowa, Grand Canyon. I am at Iowa 5.5, total 144.5. Meanwhile, it is Iowa 14.5, total 145. I'm going to take Grand Canyon the cover, but obviously not the win. And plus 14.5 is minus 116. Next up is Saturday at 7:10 CBS. You're 7:10 in the East region, Maryland, UConn. I'm at UConn 7, total 135. Meanwhile, it's UConn 3, total 130. I'm going to lay the 3 at UConn against Maryland. 7:15 True TV, you're 13-4 in the West region, Ohio and Virginia. I'm at Virginia 8, total 141.5. Meanwhile, it's Virginia 7, total 130.5. That's way too low. I'm taking the over. I don't trust Ohio defensively, so I'm going to go over 130.5. 7:25 TNT, Missouri, Oklahoma. You're 8-9 in the West region. I am at Pick'em in 145. I had to change my numbers because of the COVID absence for one of Oklahoma's best players in Davion Harmon. And FanDuel has this at Oklahoma 1, total 139.5. I'm going to go with the over even though Harmon's out. I just think that the number is very low. And I think that Missouri will win the game. 9:20 TBS. And by the way, that was my one change to the bracket. I had to flip my pick in that game because of the COVID issue with Oklahoma. 9:20 TBS. You're 116 in the West region. Norfolk State, Gonzaga. I'm at Gonzaga 19, total 152.5. Meanwhile, it is Gonzaga 33.5, total 154. I'm taking Norfolk plus the points to keep it within the number. 9:40 CBS, East region, you're 6-11. UCLA, BYU. I'm at BYU 3, total 144.5. Meanwhile, it is... I don't see a line out for this matchup yet. But if it comes out, then I'll tweet out a pick. Right now it looks like BYU 3.5. I don't see a total yet. But if the total is anything higher than 146, I'll take the under. And if it's anything lower than 143, I'll take the over. 950 True TV, Abilene Christian, Texas. That is your 14-3 in the East Region. I actually project Abilene Christian as a 1-point favorite in the total of 141. I'm not picking the upset. I think this is where my numbers are a little off, and it's Texas 8.5, total 140. I'm taking App State to cover, or App Christian to cover, but not to win. And last but not least, 957 TNT, West Region, your 10-7, VCU, Oregon. I'm at Oregon 5.5, total 139.5. Meanwhile, it is Oregon 5, total 137.5. I'm going to take the over. I have no choice because I'm by a half point. So I'll go over 137.5 between VCU and Oregon as I would advance Oregon in my bracket. I'll tweet out my Sunday round of 32 picks on Sunday morning at my Twitter account at MadisonMills28. So there you have it for college basketball for today and for the weekend. Now we'll do NBA. We'll look back on last night's games and look ahead to today and the weekend. Wizards over the Jazz 131-122. Hawks over the Thunder 116-93. Knicks over the Magic 94-93. Wolves over the Suns 123-119. Blazers over the Pels 101-93. And the Lakers over the Hornets 116-105. Now we'll look ahead to a busy slate for tonight in the association. First up, 7:30, you have the Kings and the Celtics. I'm at Boston by 7.5, total 229. Meanwhile, it is Boston 7, total 234.5. I'm taking the under 234.5 at minus 112. Spurs Cavaliers, I'm at Spurs 8, total 218. Meanwhile, it's Spurs 3.5. I'm laying the 3.5 with the Spurs at minus 114. 8 o'clock, Pacers Heat. I'm at Heat 6.5, total 219.5. Meanwhile, it's Heat 4, total 215.5. I'm taking the, or 215.5. I'm taking the over. That is pretty low for a team that has good offensive players on each side. Nets Magic. I'm at Brooklyn by a whopping 18, total 225.5. Well, it's 10.5. I don't have a total yet. I'm laying the 10.5 at Brooklyn. Jazz Raptors. I'm at Jazz 15.5, total 225. Meanwhile, the Jazz are favored by 5, total 230.5. I am laying the 5 with the Jazz. That is a very low number for a team that's been rocking and rolling, although they're coming off a loss. Pistons Rockets. I'm at Rockets 3, total 219.5. Meanwhile, it's Rockets by 2. I am going to probably look at the total. If it's anything higher than 221, I'm taking the under. And if it's anything lower than 218, I'll take the over. Warriors Grizzlies. I'm at Warriors 2.5, total 224. Meanwhile, it's Memphis by 8. Who's out? Who's out for Golden State? Is like Curry out or something? That is ridiculous that number is that high. Let me see. Is Steph Curry playing tonight? Probably not. Because that is really, really, really a big line. Like, why is Memphis? But yeah, Steph Curry is out. So I have to make an adjustment here because Curry is my highest rated player against the spread. So I got to do some math on the fly here. I'm at Memphis by 5.5, total 224. I am going to take Golden State plus the 8. That is very, very high of a number. Chicago, Denver. I'm at Denver 10.5, total 227. And that game, by the way, is a 9 o'clock game. And Denver is favored by 7, total 225.5. I'm laying the 7 with Denver at minus 114. 10 o'clock, Wolves, Suns. And my Suns 23.5, total 224.5. And also 11 and 231. I'm laying the 11. And Dallas, Portland again on NBA TV. I'm at Dallas 1, total 226.5. Meanwhile, it's Dallas 3.5, total 232. I'm taking under the Blazers. That's a tough one. I'm going to go with the Blazers plus 3.5 and plus 132 on the money line. Damian Lillard, best player on the court potentially in this game, but it's probably going to be Luka Doncic, but it's a chance to be Dame. So I'm taking the plus 3.5 and plus 132 on the money line. Saturday, 3:30, Hawks, Lakers, 8 o'clock, Kings, Sixers, NBA TV, Warriors, Grizzlies, 9 o'clock, Spurs, Bucks, 10 o'clock, Hornets, Clippers. Sunday, 1 o'clock, Pacers, Heat, 2 o'clock, Thunder, Rockets, 3 o'clock, Pelicans, Nuggets, 3:30, Magic, Celtics, 7 o'clock, NBA TV, Wizards, Nets, Raptors, Cavaliers, Bulls, Pistons, 8 o'clock, 76ers, Knicks, 10 o'clock, NBA TV, Lakers, Suns, and Mavericks, Blazers. So, Mavericks, Blazers, a lot of games between those two teams within the next couple of days here. Alrighty, now we'll move on to the NHL as we will look back on yesterday's games and look ahead to tonight and the weekend. Devils over the Penguins 3-2. Bruins over the Sabres 4-1. Flyers over the Isles 4-3. Jackets over the Canes 3-2 in overtime on a game winner by Seth Jones. Lightning over the Blackhawks 4-2. Preds over the Panthers 2-1. Red Wings over the Stars 3-2. Oilers over the Jets 2-1. Avs over the Wild 5-1. And the Ducks over the Coyotes 3-2 in overtime on a game winner by Adam Henrique. Tonight's window, short window. 7 o'clock, you have the Rangers and the Capitals. The Capitals are minus 146. The Rangers are plus 124. Over under 6.5. Overs plus 110. Unders minus 134. Rangers plus 1.5 is minus 194. Caps minus 1.5 is plus 160. I'm going to go with the Rangers as a road underdog tonight, plus 124. They're 2-0 against the Caps this season. I know the Caps have been hot, but all good things have to come to an end, and I think it can end tonight against New York. So give me the Rangers plus 124 on the money line tonight. Alexander Georgiev coming off a shutout. He'll start again tonight. And Igor Shesterkin will return on Saturday, apparently. So that is great news for the Rangers after that scare against the Devils a couple of weeks ago. So give me the Rangers to continue this nice little run they got, and then they'll be above 500. Potentially going into their next game against the Caps. Canucks, Canadians, Montreal minus 188, Vancouver plus 156, over under 5.5, overs minus 134, unders plus 110. Canucks plus 1.5 is minus 154, Canadians minus 1.5 is plus 128. I'm going to go with under 5.5 and plus 110. These two teams were, that was a 2-1 Vancouver win a couple of weeks ago in a shootout. This could be Carey Price against Thatcher Demko, so we'll go under 5.5 and plus 110. Flames, Maple Leafs, the Leafs are minus 164. The Flames are plus 138, over under 6.5, overs minus 104. The Flames over under with the Maple Leafs, under is minus 118. Flames plus 1.5 is minus 166. Leafs minus 1.5 is plus 138. I'm going to go with the Flames as a dog, plus 138. They've been playing better since Daryl Sutter has arrived, so I'm going to go Flames plus 138. 9 o'clock, Blues, Sharks. The Blues are minus 152. The Sharks are plus 128. Over under 5.5, overs minus 138. Unders plus 112. Blues minus 1.5 is plus 164. Sharks plus 1.5 is minus 200. I'm going to go with the Blues in regulation at plus 105. I just think that the Blues are better than the Sharks. And getting the Blues in regulation at plus money is pretty good. And last but not least for Friday night, which is tonight, Golden Knights, Kings, 10 o'clock. The Golden Knights minus 176. The Kings are plus 148. Over under 5.5. Overs minus 112. Unders minus 108. Golden Knights minus 1.5 is plus 138. Kings plus 1.5 is minus 166. I'm going to go under 5.5 at minus 108. The Kings goalies have been playing well, and so has Marc-Andre Fleury. So give me under 5.5 at minus 108. Saturday, 1 o'clock, Penguins, Devils. Bruins, Sabres, 2 o'clock, Preds, Panthers, 3 o'clock, Wild, Avs, 4 o'clock, Blackhawks, Lightning, 7 o'clock, Rangers, Caps, Flyers, Islanders, Blue Jackets, Hurricanes, Stars, Red Wings, Canucks, Canadians, Flames, Leafs, Coyotes, Ducks at 8, Blues, Sharks at 9, and at 10 o'clock, the Jets and the Oilers. Sunday, 1 o'clock, Devils, Penguins, 4 o'clock, Panthers, Lightning, 6 o'clock, NBCSN, Golden Knights, Kings, and 8:30 on ESPN, you have the Predators and the Stars. All right, now we'll look back on Major League Baseball spring training from yesterday, and we'll look ahead to the weekend. And before we know it, it's going to be real scores. Nats over the Mets, 3-1. Cubs over the Indians, 4-3. White Sox over the Royals, 9-7. Dodgers and Diamondbacks ended in a 7-7 tie in 7. Angels over the Brewers, 3-2. Athletics over the Padres, 4-2. Cardinals over the Marlins, 7-5. Rangers over the Reds, 12-9. And the Mariners over the Giants, 6-3. Today's games, 1 o'clock, Rays, Red Sox, Blue Jays, Tigers, Cardinals, Mets, 4 o'clock, Angels, Royals, Cubs, Athletics, Rangers, Dodgers, Diamondbacks, Brewers, Indians, Rockies, 6 o'clock, Orioles, Pirates, Nationals, Astros, 6:30, Phillies, Yankees, 9:40, White Sox, Mariners, and 10 o'clock, Reds, Giants. Saturday, 1 o'clock, Red Sox, Braves, Astros, Cardinals, Pirates, Tigers, Blue Jays, Phillies, 4 o'clock, Indians, White Sox, Rockies, Cubs, Royals, Diamondbacks, Dodgers, Padres, Angels, Athletics, other way around, A's at the Angels. 6 o'clock, Yankees, Orioles, Marlins, Nationals, Rays, Twins, 9 o'clock, Brewers, Reds, and Mariners, Rangers. Sunday, 1 o'clock, Braves, Rays, Tigers, Phillies, Astros, Marlins, Twins, Orioles, Mets, Nats, Pirates, Red Sox, Yankees, Blue Jays, 4 o'clock, Reds, Cubs, Rockies, Royals, Rangers, Indians, Angels, Padres, White Sox, Diamondbacks, Mariners, Brewers, and 9 o'clock, the Giants and the Dodgers. Now we will look at the current leaderboard at the Honda Classic, as we'll just go through the notables because we don't have a lot of time on our hands. So your leader at the moment at the Honda Classic is Matt Jones at 9 under. Tied for second, Aaron Weiss and Russell Henley at 6 under. In fourth place at 5 under is Will Gordon. Tied for fifth with 4 under, you have Steve Stricker. You have Scott Harrington, Sam Ryder, and Kevin Chappell. Now we're just going to go through notables. Tied for ninth with 3 under, Cam Triangle, Shane Lowry, Zach Johnson, Shang Tsung Pan, tied for 2 under in 18th place, Dylan McCarthy, Mark Hubbard, Mackenzie Hughes, who else is in there? That's it, the notables. Tied for 27th with 1 under, Adam Scott, Joaquin Neiman, Richie Wierenski, Evan Van Rooyen, Sanjay Im. Tied for 40th at even, Ches Ravi, and my pick of Chris Kirk. Tied for 55th with 1 over, Phil Mickelson, Ian Poulter, Harold Varner III, Lucas Glover, Adam Schenk, Michael Thompson, Ricky Fowler, J.B. Holmes, Henrik Norlander. Tied for 78th with 2 over, Adam Hadwin, Taylor Gooch, Ryan Moore. Tied for 91st with 3 over, Brendan Steele, Russell Knox, Lee Westwood, Matt Wallace. Tied for 103rd with 4 over, JT Potson. Tied for 112th with 5 over, Dylan Fratelli, Luke Quist, Tyler Duncan. And that's it for really the notables in the Honda Classic, and I'll obviously go over all the results on the podcast on Monday. Now we will preview and predict the NASCAR races for the weekend. We usually start with the trucks, then do Xfinity, and then obviously do the Cup. All right. So the truck series is tomorrow at 2:30 in Atlanta. Xfinity is right after at 5 o'clock from Atlanta, and the Cup is on Sunday, 3 o'clock on Fox for Atlanta. So we're going to start with the truck series, and we will go over the starting lineup for Atlanta. All right, in the pole position in the truck series will be John Hunter Nemechek. And then you have Kyle Busch, Matt Crafton, Stuart Friesen, Brent Rhodes, Austin Hill, Zane Smith, Sheldon Creed, Todd Gilliland, Brett Moffitt, Chandler Smith, Austin Wayne Self, Johnny Sauter, Tanner Gray, Parker Kligerman, Timothy Peters, Carson Hocevar, Chris Wright, Grant Effinger, Cody Rohrbarg, Danny Bone, Tate Fogelman, Raphael Lesser, Jordan Anderson, Spencer Boyd, Chase Purdy, Dawson Cram, Haley Deegan, Derek Krause, Tyler Ankrum, Bill Lester, Ryan Truex, Jennifer Jo Cobb, Corey Roper, Brett Holmes, Ryan Ellis, Norm Benning, Ekanori Ogata, Spencer Davis, and Ross Chasen. Now I'm going to pull up DraftKings for the odds for the race. And my pick to win the 4-8 Auctions 200 will be I'm going to go with Austin Hill at 7-1. I don't like taking single-digit odds, but I'm going to do it here at Austin Hill at 7-1. They'll win the 4-8 Auctions 200. Now the starting lineup for the Echo Park 250, which is the Xfinity race. And your pole sitter's Austin Cedric. Then you got Jeb Burton, AJ Allmendinger, Brandon Brown, Harrison Burton, Justin Allgaier, Riley Herbst, Brett Moffitt, Matt Snyder, Jeremy Clements, Daniel Hemrick, Santino Ferrucci, Justin Haley, Bailey Curry, Tommy Joe Martins, Brandon Jones, Timmy Hill, Martin Truex Jr., Josh Williams, Landon Castle, Jade Buford, Josh Berry, Colby Howard, Joe Graff Jr., Blaine Perkins, Jeffrey Earnhardt, Michael Annett, Cody Ware, Dexter Bean, Noah Gragson, Kyle Weatherman, Mason Massey, Gray Golding, Ryan Vargas, Ryan Sieg, Alex Lab, Jesse Little, Chad Fincham, Matt Mills, and David Starr. I'm going to go with Noah Gragson at 10-1. He is starting towards the back of the field, but I think that he will bounce back and can win this race. So I'm going to go Noah Gragson 10-1 and watch Justin Haley's going to win because this is the week where I don't pick him. After all these weeks of picking Justin Haley, watch him just win this race. And now the Cup starting lineup for Atlanta. Denny Hamlin is on the pole. And the rest of it's Martin Truex Jr., Joey Logano, Brad Keselowski, Chase Elliott, Kyle Larson, Kevin Harvick, Chris Bell, William Byron, Ryan Blaney, Kurt Busch, Ricky Stenhouse Jr., Austin Dillon, Alex Bowman, Bubba Wallace, Eric Almirola, Chris Buescher, Michael McDowell, Kyle Busch, Matt DiBenedetto, Ross Chasen, Eric Jones, Ryan Preece, Chase Briscoe, Daniel Suarez, Justin Haley, Cole Costa, Ryan Newman, Tyler Reddick, Corey LaJoie, BJ McLeod, Anthony Alfredo, Cody Ware, James Davison, Quinn Houff, Joey Gase, Josh Bleeky, Timmy Hill, and Austin Cindric. And for the Folds of Honor Quick Trip 500, I want to go Kevin Harvick, but he's the favorite. I don't like going with favorites. You know that. I'm going to go with somebody that I think is just poised to go on a little bit of a run here, and that is Chase Elliott, 8-1. I think that Chase wants to get going and build on his championship from last year, so I'm going to go 8-1 Chase Elliott to win the Folds of Honor Quick Trip 500 from Atlanta. And now quickly I'm going to do the latest news and notes. I'm going to combine NFL free agency into this segment today. Riley Reif to the Bengals is the latest thing to, pop up. That's a big signing for the Bengals. They need a veteran tackle to help come in and protect Joe Burrow. So a good signing. David Andrews back to New England on a 4-year deal. That is awesome. They needed to get that done. He is a big-time player for them as their starting center. So, there you go. The NCAA has a statement on bubble gyms. The league pledges to address disparity in the men's and women's facilities after players and coaches across the sport posted a viral photo. So, they posted a statement about the bubble gyms. The Atlanta Hawks had a moment of silence for the victims of Tuesday's shootings in the Atlanta area. It's just the hard times in Atlanta right now and the Asian community. All my thoughts and prayers goes out to the ones that had to deal with that tragedy and the city of Atlanta. The New York Giants made a couple moves yesterday. Reggie Ragland, 1-year deal. Mike Lennon, 1-year deal to be the backup quarterback. And Kyle Rudolph, a 2-year deal with the Giants. That's a surprising signing. I like that signing for the Giants. He's a veteran. He's an upgrade over Evan Ingram at tight end. The Vikings got rid of him because they have a good tight end in-house with Herb Smith Jr. And now Rudolph comes in. He's a good red zone target. That's something that the Giants have lacked. And it's normally guys like Rudolph that have success against the Giants. So now they have somebody like that with Kyle Rudolph. And I think Ragland could be a good signing for them as well. Marvin Bagley III won't need surgery on his hand fracture. And we'll have an update in 4 weeks. I have to make some adjustments when I do Kings games now. And Marvin Bagley is worth, I'd say, a point to the points to the my numbers. Allen Robinson signed the franchise tag. It will make $18 million in 2021. So there you have it. So he takes the tag. And the Bears cut Kyle Fuller. He was a cap hit casualty. So Kyle Fuller will land on his feet somewhere else. Mitch Trubisky to the Bills, 1 year, $2.5 million. He will back up Josh Allen next year. And it's just unfortunate for Trubisky. He'll always be remembered as the guy the Bears traded up for and passed up Deshaun Watson and Patrick Mahomes for. The Dolphins signed 1-year deal for Will Fuller. That is a pretty good signing for them. I think it was like $10 million or something like that, maybe more. It's like a prove-it deal for Will Fuller. So it'll be him and Devontae Parker. And imagine if they trade for Watson, then Watson and Fuller are reunited. So maybe Watson will end up in Miami. The Raiders signed Kenyon Drake, 2 years, $14.5 million. So they have Kenyon Drake and Josh Jacobs now. So they have a two-headed monster running back. And they want to try what some other teams have for their success. Like you saw it work out for some teams with the two-headed monster running back, and some teams it didn't. And the Raiders are banking on it. And the Raiders may move on from Marcus Mariota as they asked him to take an $8 million pay cut for the season. But they'll move on if he refuses. So we'll see if they release Mariota or not. And that's another backup quarterback on the market. The Chargers signed Jared Cook, 1 year, $6 million. I think that's a good signing for the Chargers. He's a veteran that really has helped some teams lately. He'll help Justin Herbert in that offense. And now they get a veteran to replace some Hunter Henry. And the Jets apparently have spoke to Juju Smith-Schuster. And they might not be done because they have had some talks. We'll see if something gets done. And then speaking of meeting up, Kevin Galladay is meeting up with the Giants today. And there's some experts saying that this is a done deal, that he'll sign with the New York Football Giants. But pen's not the paper yet. I'm not going to see it till I believe it. And Deshaun Watson was named in a third lawsuit, as Watson has been named in a third civil lawsuit this week by a woman who says that Watson sexually assaulted her. That's just wild. And who knows? Deshaun made that good statement, but now there's a third lawsuit here, and we'll see what happens. And now the NFL is investigating it, and the Texans will cooperate with it as well. The NFL media deal was announced. It's worth $110 billion as the NFL announces media rights changing, including moving Thursday Night Football exclusively to Amazon as a part of an 11-year deal. That's crazy. So you have to watch Thursday Night Football on Amazon. That's wild. And Andy Dalton to the Bears. We talked about that on the show, I believe. If not, it looks like Andy Dalton will be their starting quarterback after the Bears made that great run at Russell Wilson. Carlos Carrasco, now we're talking baseball, suffered a hamstring injury during conditioning and will undergo MRI. There's a chance that he's on the injured list to start the season, and that is not good for a Met team that is under immense pressure to win now. And good news for the Mets and for the Yankees that both New York baseball teams are allowed to reopen with crowds at 20% starting on opening day. And you must show a negative COVID test or a proof of a vaccine in order to go. The Raptors apparently won't trade Kyle Lowry, as Toronto has told interested teams that the point guard is not available for trade ahead of the deadline. They probably look at Lowry as their guy for life, or maybe the Raptors want to go for it. We'll see what happens, but I think that the Raptors should trade Lowry if they're out of it, and if they're within 2 of the playing game, then keep Lowry. And now John Collins' trade is unlikely, as the Hawks likely won't trade Collins at the deadline, with his rookie deal making it hard to find return value. They really, I think, want a lot back. And obviously, they want a lot because they are very high on the kid. So we'll see what happens there. Last but not least, my best bet of the day, brought to you by DraftKings. We're going to do DraftKings today for best bet. And there's a couple that stand out to me in the NCAA tournament, in the NBA, and the NHL. But I'm going to go with the Jazz minus the 5 at the Raptors. Bounce back spot for Utah after losing to Washington. I can't believe it's only 5. And I have to see if Gobert and Mitchell are playing, because it's crazy that line is so low. And it looks like that OG Anunoby's back for Toronto. That's good news, but that's so low of a number. I'm laying it with the Jazz against the Raptors as my best bet for the day. So there you have it for the show today. I'll be back on Monday recapping all the NCAA tournament games, the NIT games, NBA, NHL, and MLB spring training, and looking ahead to Monday's games. Golf and NASCAR as well. We'll look back on the latest news and notes in the world of sports and pop culture, and my best bet too. Hope you guys have a great, great weekend, everyone.